Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the We Got Balls podcast. My name is Steve Trudeau. I am joined by my two co-hosts, Emmanuel Pacheco and Mikey Almeida. Fellas, how are we?
Woo! Woohoo! We're here.
Ready to escape the cottage that Emmanuel's going to next week.
People's response is, we're here.
You weren't invited, Mikey.
Actually, I was.
Yeah, to a different cottage that we're going to. Did you get the note and then an address? Yeah, directions and everything. Yeah.
Oh man, I will not be going anywhere next to Toronto for a while.
So,
Do you really want to be here, Emmanuel? Because your how you doing is I'm here.
no, I'm here.
Do you want to talk about depression at the beginning, Emmanuel? Let's cut it in.
Talk about my therapy session this week.
Ooh, we should have a podcast episode where we're your therapist. That'll go really well. But anyways, so we're jazzed up today. We were all super into the Olympics. They're underway now. Olympics opening ceremony was Friday night. Did you guys enjoy the festivities?
I have some thoughts. Did I enjoy them? Yes, I like them, but I have some very big thoughts on that.
All right, well, let me hear them.
There you go. So first off, it was sad. It looked more like a dress rehearsal for another great Olympics that was going to happen, because there was no fans, there was no audience members. They were waving at literally the people sweeping the floors of the stadium, and it was sad. I felt sad for the athletes that were going out there to be in their first Olympics. I felt very sad.
Did you think the performance was sad, or just the people coming out, like the countries coming out waving to nobody?
No, the performances are they weren't as big and glamorous, obviously, as you saw with all Beijing or Rio, or anything. It was nowhere close to that. But it was more sad about just the athletes and the fact that they didn't really have other people cheering them other than the other athletes, and the Russians weren't clapping for anybody, right? So
I have a whole thing for the Russian.
Oh, wait, Russians.
I'll get into that in a minute.
Right?
Yeah, that's the problem I have. You want to go right into that? You want to go right into that since we're here already?
Yeah.
So I know Mike hasn't been following the Olympics too much, and he's going to love this analogy I have for him. So the Russians have been banned for like 4 years because they had state-sponsored doping. So essentially, like, the Olympic Committee of Russia was giving steroids to their athletes. Like, blatant cheating. They got caught big time.
Yeah.
Not only did they get caught for cheating, but they were trying to like alter data after the fact to hide it, and they got caught trying to cheat again. So Mikey, they're kicked out of the Olympics. They're banned. Russia's banned, but guess what? Guess who shows up on Friday night?
Russia?
The ROC. Not Russia, my friend. The ROC, which is the Russian Olympic Committee. So that's essentially, Mikey, that's like this. Let's say Rob Manfred banned the Astros from baseball this year for cheating, right? And then the Astros just show up next year as the Astros baseball committee with all their same players. That's essentially what happened with Russia.
Sounds like my wedding when we invited Emmanuel and he still showed up.
I still showed up. Yeah, I still showed up.
And he claimed as the best man as his throne. So I was wondering what the hell the ROC is. I'm like, am I stupid? Do I not know of a country that... And they're doing well in the medal count, but does their medals not count?
So they don't count towards Russia, but the athletes still get the medals. So it's like...
Okay.
I mean, everyone knows they're still Russian athletes. It's not like they're hiding it from anybody. They're literally called Russian Athletic or Olympic Committee, and they have the same colors as Russia. And the only difference is they don't have the flag and they don't play the Russian national anthem. Other than that, it's like the same thing as normal.
Has Putin said anything about this?
I don't know, man. He brought us here. The thing about the Olympics, and I'm getting a little sidetracked now, but they're definitely a little corrupt, to say the least, the IOC, as far as they want to keep the big players happy. So they just kind of turn their shoulder to this. But anyways, ROC, unbelievable.
Yeah, it baffles me. And again, if you know the story of how they got banned from the Olympics, it's like this was a covert, complete operation. The actual head of the testing, it's a whole thing that was completely government sponsored. So this was very, very bad, right? So absolutely, they should have been banned even longer than they are now. But again, the individuals shouldn't pay for that. The ones that are actually not participating in the drugging and stuff like that. But can you do?
I mean, they're banned. They're not there. It's the Russian
that's
Olympic
true.
Committee. It's not Russia.
No,
Totally different. Totally different.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the festivities. I thought the performance was interesting. It was very meaningful. They really kind of encapsulated what 2020 was, especially for the athletes, kind of like working in isolation training by themselves to get prepared. The one thing I have to say that drove me absolutely crazy, and I know, Emmanuel, you live in Canada, so you get a different broadcast than me, but Mike Tirico, shut the hell up. That's all I got to say.
I don't know who that is.
The entire time during the broadcast of, the RT performance to start the Olympics, they had the commentators telling me what was going on. Isn't that the point of art, Emmanuel, to like take in the art, the performance, and make feel it for yourselves? The whole time they just kept talking over it, and it would cut over the music, so I couldn't hear the music playing in the background. It was awful. It ruined the experience completely.
100% agree with you, but that's what happens when Americans get involved, right? Because
God.
Look! What did you guys do to hockey? You put a blue friggin' dot on the puck because the Americans.
No.
Yeah. That was American.
That's gone though. It's gone.
It is. It's gone because people saw how stupid it was. But yeah,
it was really stupid.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. Art is art. You should be watching it. You should be paying attention. That's why it's good to have different channels, right? Different TV channels from different countries, so you can actually see how they cover it. Because Canada was very respectful. I watched the whole thing. There was barely a commentator in the whole thing because let's keep quiet now while we watch the performance, and then 20 minutes later they comment.
Though it might have been different because you actually watched it live as it happened, right?
No, funny enough, I watched it taped. I didn't wake up at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So we watched the tape, but it was, again, the same broadcast. It was just that it was the taped version of it, but it was fine.
So one thing I thought was really interesting as far as the participants in the Olympics this year, two athletes stood out to me in particular.
As a result of COVID-19, Tri-C can help with tuition assistance.
I don't know why that came on.
Thank you for giving me tuition assistance. I got to say, for the listeners of this podcast, if you've listened to this show like over and over again, week after week, I swear to God, Emmanuel triggers some random ass sound every week.
I don't know why.
Usually it's your phone binging off as soon as we start recording.
I don't know.
You are the Tirico of this show.
Mike Tirico and Emmanuel Pacheco, both you guys can shut up. Anyways,
whatever.
No, so two athletes really stood out to me. I wrote them down just because I want to bring them up on the podcast. First of all, I'm going to butcher the name. She is a Uzbekistan gymnast, Oksana Chusovinana. I butchered it. But this is why she stood out to me. All right. She is 46 years old, right? She's competing in, I believe, her 8th Olympics, which is insane. Her first Olympics was in 1992, and she played for a team that essentially represented the Soviet Union. Dude, wow. I was 3 when she started competing in the Olympics. Now, granted, she lost today and got kicked out as far as she didn't qualify, but just the fact that you're 46 years old as a gymnast competing in your 8th Olympics, it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's interesting about that, but it's the I guess the Russian system, Soviet system back then, you don't even know how young was she really? Because
if you looked at her in a picture, she's definitely at least 46. She might be 57. Yeah, she's looking real old out there. Yeah, okay. But all right, so the second person I want to give a shout out to, did you guys see the youngest Olympian competing in this Olympics?
No, who is it?
Wait. This is on gymnasts, right? There's another gymnast?
No, so it's actual a ping pong player.
And I didn't see it.
Yes,
youngest Canadian. She was 15 and she actually qualified for but that's another thing. Go ahead.
We can talk about that in a second. But so, can you take a guess at how young the youngest Olympian in these Olympics are?
12.
Nailed it. A 12-year-old's competing in the Olympics for table tennis. So there's a Syrian girl named Hen Zaza. She actually qualified before 2020 because obviously the Olympics got delayed. She qualified as an 11-year-old. She had to beat a 42-year-old Lebanese woman to qualify for the Olympics. So could you imagine being a 42-year-old trying to make it to the Olympics and an 11-year-old whoops your ass and beat the ahead of you?
What do you do after that?
Yeah, you might as well just give up at that point. pick up shuffleboard. You know what? What's next after table tennis? Shuffleboard.
But I thought that was extremely wild. So those are two things that I saw during the opening ceremonies that I wrote down because I want to bring it up to you guys.
Okay, I do have a comment though on your last one about how young a world champion, an Olympian could be. So just to bring it back to me, so my daughter and my son competed at the world level in salsa dancing, and they won when my daughter was 11 years old, the world championship, and it was against adults. I believe it was in Miami. I'm trying to remember if it was Vegas or Miami, but it was one of those two. And it was so funny because it was like all Spanish speaking audience, and then you see these two little Canadian kids come out on the stage, right? And they think it's like a novelty, but it's for a world championship, and all like everybody's screaming and stuff, and then they say, and from Canada, Gentleman and Raymond, and then all you hear is like nobody, and that was me and Myra clapping literally. But you know what? They wiped the floor with everybody, and all you saw was the heads of everybody, and then you see these two little kids, and then the heads again when they were lining up at the podium. I have the video of them winning, and Jenilyn is like, she didn't even know she won. She was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So yeah, I know what it's like for an 11-year-old to beat real adults, right? So yeah.
How was the backstage like afterwards?
Oh, it was absolutely insane. It was absolutely insane. But yeah, we had no respect. Canadians had no respect in the salsa world before we came.
Exactly, that's how it should be. I do like how you said to bring it to myself, like you don't do that all the time, Emmanuel. It's all about Emmanuel on this podcast, isn't it?
No.
I'm just kidding. So outside of the dancing and the festivities before the athletes came out, was there anything else you found interesting about that night?
Well, again, I thought the COVID was going to overtake the Olympics, right? That I did say that. I said that it was going to destroy the whole thing. It was going to be a dumpster fire. It hasn't been, right? Like they've contained it. Although the COVID count has been high, the Olympic athletes themselves are still, they're doing a good job of containing it, right? So in terms of not having it affect the actual sports, right? And the competitions. I will say Canada got its first medal. They got their first silver medal in relay swimming. So that was the one thing that we're watching. And up here in Canada, we're only they're just broadcasting a lot of the Canadian athletes. So.
I got a problem with that before you get in, Mikey, because they're doing the same thing in America. And I feel like I'm getting gypped out of like some really good Olympics because they only show events where Americans are either winning or favored to win. They don't give me anything else. It's kind of like I feel like I'm getting ripped off of my Olympic coverage.
I completely agree. And again, I have to watch the app to basically see what's going on. And then I try to find it on TV, and I can't find any of the things going on.
Canada has 2 silver medals right now.
Correct, but they got their first one in swimming. I don't know what their second one is, but let's see.
I actually watched a couple of Canadians before the podcast win synchronized swimming silver.
Is that the one?
Not synchronized swimming. I'm sorry, the synchronized diving, that's an interesting one.
It was actually, we just watched it. We watched the two. I think it was the Chinese swimmers.
They won.
Yeah, they won.
They were like flawless, but I think they're 40 years old, like 40 and 30. No, one of them.
That's not true. Okay, I believe it was 30 and 32 or something, and like 24.
Canada won silver in the women's 400 freestyle.
Yes, that's the one.
There you go, Team Canada.
Trying to save.
So I play this game with my wife when I'm watching the opening ceremonies. I don't know if you guys are with me and do this, but I watch all the countries that come out, and we just criticize in a nice way their outfits, and we also take guesses of how many delegates each country has based on just the country themselves. It's a really fun game. Did you guys do that at all?
Well, we don't nicely comment on we try to avoid commenting on the outfits. Like that shouldn't. No, I do have one
fashion show.
I do have one comment about the things. Why is it that they're giving what's the beach volleyball team? The women's beach volleyball team got criticized for wearing like bicycle shorts as opposed to bikinis. Did you hear about that?
Really?
Yeah, they got penalized. They got fined.
We were actually talking about that this morning. Me and my wife, like, why do the guys wear shorts and the girls have to wear these little bikinis the whole time?
Yeah, my wife was talking about it. So we criticize that. It's sexist, and they shouldn't be, but they got fined. So the women's team got fined for it, which is way different, because then, like, that is something that they're completely sexist, because at that point you have to wear, in the rules it states you must wear bikini shorts in order to
That's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Gotta say, shout out to all the people, all the African countries. They got the best style, man. They bring the most color to their outfits. I like their style, man. The Italians were looking a little weird with their dress. Gotta say, I was just disappointed in my Italian peeps.
Your Italian peeps.
Yeah. Yep. But anyways,
okay.
I did do some research because I know we talked last week about we were asking the question, do the Olympians get paid?
Correct.
And before we came on today, I did some research into how they get paid and if they get paid. So the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee, they run the Olympics. They actually don't pay the athletes anything. So money doesn't come from them. Instead, if the country themselves, like their Olympic committee, so like U.S. Olympics, Canadian Olympics, if they pay, then the athletes can get pay. Other than that, the top athletes can get sponsorship deals. So like a Usain Bolt, Gabrielle Union, like those cats can get paid. And then outside of that, the only other way they can get paid is like individual, like world events. So they have like the world swimming events or like world track and field. It's tough out here for the Olympians, man. They're not really getting any cash flow.
Well, that's the thing. It's supposed to be a non-professional, non-professional, right? Because the Olympics is supposed to be, you're competing for the Olympics. You're not really supposed to be pro. Although there's different, I guess, rules for basketball players, for everything else. But there is this whole thing of you're supposed to actually not be like a professional, and then you can then go and compete on the Olympics. I think that there's a little bit of an understanding of that, right? So you can't make it your career as a pro player, but you can make it if you're a non-pro and then start competing in the Olympics.
Well, I was thinking about this more when I learned this fact. I always thought like, oh, these, smaller countries in the middle of nowhere, like they have no athletes because they just don't care about sports much or whatever. But it's probably really hard for some of these smaller, poorer countries to actually support the athletes. You know what I mean? Like to be an Olympian for most people, I feel like you have to have some sort of wealthiness to an extent, because like let's say if you're trying to be an Olympic rower, you're not making a living off of rowing, and you have to train probably like, I don't know, 3-4 hours a day. So you got to have some sort of financial stability to become an Olympian, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, but that's I think the problem with the way that the IOC runs it, right? Is that the rules and how they run it. Well, again, can you say anything different about that in the basketball system or the NFL system in terms of the, before you become like the when you're an amateur in those sports, you're not getting paid, right? So you're like,
yeah. I mean, they did change the rules so you can get some sponsorship money, but I agree with the premise that you're not getting paid. The only benefit of being like a collegiate basketball or football player in that regards is like you're getting your room and board taken care of if you're getting a scholarship. Whereas like if you're living in the middle of Africa and Congo and you want to be a rower, I don't know how many universities are ponying up for you to live. You know what I mean? So you're kind of shit out of luck there.
So African Congo, do they have like, is there a...
By the way, fun fact, learned this on the Olympic opening ceremony, and this is why you need to watch the teams come in. There is a Congo and a Democratic Republic of Congo, two different countries. Fun fact.
Yeah. Well, yes. And it's interesting because and then the countries that have like one athlete, right? Have you seen those? Like,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So. Oh yeah. Okay. That's it.
No, that's it. Yes, I've seen them. I had this thought when I was watching the Olympics the other day, and I want Mikey's opinion. Mikey, so let's say you were invited to the Olympics, but you're like the last person to qualify, and you have no chance of winning. Do you even show up to the Olympics, or are you just there for a good time? Like, if you know you're not going to win, are you still showing up?
Okay. Do I get like a basket for coming or something? Or like a gift basket?
He's going there for the swag.
Hotel's nice. Like, am I going there for the experience? Because you can't eat out of the area, right? You can't do much out of the area. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that.
No, but you're networking with people a little bit, right? Because
that doesn't matter.
What do you mean by networking, Emmanuel?
You're getting to know people within, and and then
really well.
nudge, wink, wink. They they stopped giving condoms, right? I think that, but I think they've smuggled in. I think the ROC smuggled in. Russian
Yeah, but if
condoms.
you're like that 46-year-old lady, what are you gonna do with that stuff? You know, why does she keep going?
Love is love, man.
Wait a minute. Now that's ageism. If you're 46, you're not gonna have sex.
I do agree with Mikey. Why is that 46-year-old woman showing up?
Yeah.
Like, does she have like
Oh
a 4-year hookup with someone? Like, you know,
Every
like,
4 years.
Every 4 years. Wait a minute. What happens with the Olympics next year? Is there an Olympics next year?
Yes.
There is.
Very controversial Olympics, in
Yeah.
fact.
Why is it
Beijing.
Yeah,
In
but why-
Beijing.
Okay. It just because it's in Beijing because of the human rights issues
Yeah,
that we have.
There's a lot of people that's calling for us to pull out of the Olympics in Beijing because of their horrid human rights violations, especially with the Uyghur Muslims, and I believe the northwest part of the country.
So yes, I can understand why people are upset. Now
It's still going to happen, though.
happen because that's obvious. And the Paris one is next after that, right?
Yeah, so we actually looked this up, and I actually had a question for Chris for next week about this. So Paris is 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the next winter, which I actually was talking to my wife about this, and it'd be a great destination trip. 2026, Milan, Italy would be sweet to go to Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
Then 2028, I believe it's Los Angeles. Then 2030, undecided. 2032, it was given to just recently this week, Brisbane, Australia. And the thing about that is they won the bid because they were the only country to bid for it, which begs the question, really, do people actually want to host these Olympics anymore? Because I've looked this up this week, and historically, hosting the Olympics is a huge financial burden. It never works out well for the host country.
No, but that's the thing. I think the Olympics is again, it needs to be revived. It needs to be modernized. There's a lot of things that have to happen, right? And again, the fact that Australia was the only bid, right? That tells you a lot. It's just like this podcast. I was the only Canadian that actually bid to be on it, and I made it, right? So it's like, does it really mean anything?
And we regret that decision every day.
That's a lie, because Myra's been paying us very well. So let's not forget that. Okay.
We did have another Canadian, but he decided he doesn't like us anymore, so he's
he
out.
does, but he has a girlfriend.
Trudeau offended him, just like half of our guests. So that's why you said something about him being late and then his haircut, and then look.
Whoa, you're the one who posted the meme about Luca being late. So don't put that on me.
No. I posted that we're all old men who get tired when Luca's late because we have early bedtimes.
Yes,
that is true.
So,
that is
it was
true.
more on us.
I do have news on Luca. So there's a brand new video that I saw the draft of it last night. Oh my God, it's really good. So I can't wait for Luca. He will come on and promote his new video.
Oh, okay. So he'll come on for his own benefit. I feel
He will
you.
100% come on to promote.
He's a smart man. So before we move off the Olympics, is there anything else you guys want to get off your chest about these Olympics so far?
Yeah,
Tons. Go ahead.
Okay,
Mikey.
go.
I got one. Ready?
Okay.
How did we lose Evan Fournier, Steven Trudeau? How did we lose to France?
So people are going to crush USA basketball, and there's a couple of factors in my opinion. All right. Number one, this isn't the 1990s anymore. Okay. The rest of the world is getting much better at basketball. There's a lot of good basketball all over the world. Just look at your Toronto Raptors. You got Pascal Siakam. I believe he's from the Congo. That's probably incorrect. He's from Africa somewhere. Joel Embiid, another African prospect. Luka Doncic, Serbian, right? Serbia, one of those Eastern European countries. The world is getting much better at basketball, right? So the world's catching up to us. Number two, half of that USA basketball team has never played together. You have teams like Nigeria and France, Serbia, Croatia. They have been playing with each other and training with each other forever. This USA team, they just took all of the players from the United States and threw them in a bag and just shook it up and hoped it worked. So there's no chemistry on top of that. And then number three, Evan Fournier is just a beast. I don't know what to tell you. He's amazing. And just a correction, Siakam and Joel Embiid are from Cameroon. So, but the point is still stands, right? The rest of the world improving in basketball. Should we lose to France? Probably not. Still, I mean, there's really no excuse. But is it fathomable that we lose to teams nowadays? Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. And I think that the US, especially in sports like that, are now going to start to see because with COVID also, you have to think about how shut out each country really is, and the US itself in terms of its thinking that it's going to now have just Americans coming in and playing. The reality is most of the teams, like you said, Siakam and Embiid, all of these guys are coming in from different countries. So now if they're starting to say, hey, I can play in Italy now, I can play in other, I think that that's going to be the way it's going to be moving forward.
Now, what if we had all of our big players? Like what happens if LeBron went? And is Davis playing? Is Anthony Davis playing?
No, he's not. Their best player is probably Kevin Durant.
Well, yeah. What if all of them showed up? Would the world have a chance?
So here's the thing, right? It's like we could throw all the best players in and we would obviously be much better and have a better chance. But the points still stand. The 2 points I made still stand. There's no cohesiveness and chemistry because the guys don't play with each other. And especially in a COVID season, like normally the NBA season would have ended 2 months ago or it would have ended a long time ago. And there would be training camps for USA Basketball. But the NBA season, because of COVID, started late, ended late, and you're literally just throwing people together. So I think even if you had the best players in the world, it still would look a little disjointed. And here's the thing about basketball, right? All these great players are the number one players on their own team, right? LeBron James, Kevin Durant, give me another, Jason Tatum, right? They're all their best players on their own team. They're not used to being a second fiddle to anybody. So when you're in a role with all superstars and you have to play together, it's kind of hard to figure out, all right, I can't be a superstar here because I am not the superstar. So to expect a bunch of superstars just come together and some of them to immediately just take role playing jobs, it doesn't make any sense.
So like the last Olympics, the one that when we had like Kobe Bryant, LeBron, James Harden, that team, it was okay for them though to be second and just beat teams 150-4 or whatever it was.
The two things, they had continuity. They played together. And number two, the rest of the world wasn't as good back in the day. Like I'm going to pull up the All-Stars from this year and just scroll through it.
Who did France have that was so good?
Rudy Gobert, your boy Rudy.
Okay, Rudy. Okay. Who else?
Evan Fournier.
Okay. Oh man, this team.
I don't know the France roster off the top of my head.
I don't know, but those two cornerstone players when they get back to the NBA.
So
Orlando
just really quick. Just looking at the All-Stars from this year in the NBA season. All right. Ben Simmons, Australian, so that's one. Domantas Sabonis, I believe he was born in America, so he doesn't count. But Rudy Gobert's French, number two. Nikola Jokic, 3. I believe he's from Serbia. Luka Doncic, maybe he's the Croatian or Serbian. But anyways, 4. Giannis, Greece, 5. And then I have one more, I believe. Nikola Vucevic.
Is Giannis playing in the Olympics?
No, he's not. But my point is, of the 30 so All-Stars, like 6 or 7 are foreign born. And that's insane compared to like 10 years ago. So the rest of the world, they're just getting way better at basketball. And I think the days of the US just coming and showing up and just playing like it's a rec league and just bulldozing people, it's over, man. Like you just can't show up at this point. You have to be a team and have actual basketball fundamentals and work together as a team.
Completely agree. So can we switch gears and talk about real sports, about real?
Oh God, what? How does the Canadian hockey team
Olympic trampoline?
Well, I'm waiting for the Olympic trampoline.
Can I get in real quick if you want to talk about real sports?
Yeah, real
quick. This is my last Olympics point, and I had this thought today, and I'm just like, what are we doing? Dressage. Do you guys know what dressage is?
Yeah, it's horse riding, but it's like the prancing.
Michael, Mike,
Sounds like Dungeons and Dragons talk.
Mike, Mikey, this is an Olympic event. People get gold medals for this, right? It's just horses. A guy gets on a horse and just prances around. It doesn't do anything but prance around. And based on how pretty the prance is, they get a gold medal. That guy gets a gold medal just as much as the guy running a 100-meter sprint in 10 seconds get a gold medal.
Yeah,
What the hell?
This is
What that we should pick an Olympic thing that we could actually do.
Listen,
And
if
be
you have
good
an
at.
Olympic sport like
They have
creating Olympic-sized conductor batons, I've got the world record on it, so I think I would win.
Oh my
Or-
god,
or
can you
if
shut
there's
up
an
at the
event-
fucking batons for 1 week?
If there's an event for making bad podcasts, I think we have a
Oh, we
good
would
chance
win.
at winning a gold, at least silver at that. But Emmanuel, you were saying real sports. What did you have for me?
No. So again, the new sports that are coming out, I'm waiting for breakdancing. I can't actually wait to see that. I think it's going to be really intense because it's very athletic. It's very much like gymnastics, but with music. And the one sport that again I started watching and I had a lot of high hopes for was skateboarding. But I'm telling you, I was not impressed when I first started to watch it. The men's, anyways, I was not impressed. I was not impressed with it.
Really? Explain to me why you weren't impressed.
Well, first, I have to understand the sport to say how they score it because they're basically scoring tricks and things like that. And all I could see was they would never have like a pure clean run, right? Except for one of the guys that I saw that I actually saw a clean run. But they'd do something and then they would just fall. And it said, oh, wow, he didn't get that down. And it was just a lot of stoppage, a lot of things. I didn't understand it as well. And it didn't have the same grit that you see in those skateboard videos, which is what you expect, right? So that's just my take on the skateboarding. I was not impressed with that as a category in the Olympics as much as I thought it would be.
Wasn't Canada supposed to be really good at the skateboarding?
We are, yeah. That's the women's one. Now I'm waiting for the women's one to see because a lot of these guys that were doing it, they were trying to land these things and they were very technical. So I'm trying to understand and said, okay, so they flipped and everybody's trying to hit this middle rail and that you make the rail. But like I can go to the skate park and probably see more athleticism at the skate park in 2 minutes away from my house than I saw on this. This was very technical. I didn't really much like it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the women's one. We do have 2 women skaters. No, one big one right now. So there's Montrealer Annie Guglia. So she's actually our hopeful for the women's skateboarding. But yeah, I just was not as impressed with it.
Now, I'm unfamiliar with like who the top skateboarders are in the world, but from your recollection of watching it, do they have like the top skateboarders competing?
Again, I don't know the skateboard world, but I could tell that you had some really cool characters, and I've seen like one of them's named Manny, so I paid attention to that, and he's quite good. Like, you can see that again, it's tattoos all over the place, so you can kind of see the skateboarder lifestyle and all that. But then when you put them in an Olympic sport where it's technical and you have to land a trick a certain way in order to get scored for it. I just didn't get it, right? I didn't. I just found that it takes a lot of the street skateboarding scene and makes it fit into the Olympics. So I didn't understand it. I didn't get it yet. That's just my take on it.
Mikey, I apologize to you. This France team is trash, man.
I was gonna tell the Orlando Magic, let's just blow things up. Let's sign Evan Fournier and obviously just build a team around him. If he can beat Team USA, imagine what he could do with everybody else.
So some of the names in this team. So I mentioned Gobert and Fournier. I have Nicholas Batum, which I mean he's not a great starter for the Clippers. Frank Nikilta, or I never say his name. The guy who was on the Knicks, he's a third string point guard. And then Vincent Poirier, who had like a cup of coffee with the Celtics. But other than that, I'm like scrolling through, don't see anybody else on this. So I don't know, man.
This is just bad. We're just bad now. I don't know. Maybe they're doing something we don't know. And
Is it bad luck? Like, again, the Olympics is a sport. It's a time. It's a very specific thing. It's a lot of pressure. It is part of it. Now, again, they don't have an audience, so maybe that's also something. Like, take a look at the U.S. the U.S. Gymnastics. Really rocky start, right? They it is qualifiers and stuff, but again, it is
man.
different. It's a different situation in the Olympics, right?
Now we just lost to Nigeria before that too. I was already a little questionable after the Nigeria loss, but now we lost to Evan Fournier, and it's just over. It's not coming back. So, Emmanuel, do you have anything else? Last closing Olympic thoughts? Because I know you had a lot. So let me just.
I did have a few. Again, I'm
ahead.
looking forward to the canoeing, which is happening now. So I'm on this stupid podcast and missing my beloved canoeing.
You're not missing much.
I'm going to see if I can find it and get the update. But I am looking forward. But I have been hooked on it. I did like I was really negative on the Olympics going into it. And I was calling it a dumpster fire that was going to happen. I actually do like the fact that it's the bringing the world together. I did have a feeling of, okay, they're really trying to, but again, it's under the guise of COVID.
Is it because Chris told you to shut up about it?
No, not at all. No. People don't even know what you're talking about with Chris, but we're not going to, are we going to announce it or?
No.
No?
I think it's a bad idea.
We'll announce it when it's.
Yeah. You know what I did watch today for you, Emmanuel? Is I watched some of that badminton.
Yes, I love badminton.
It was actually really good in the Olympics.
100%, and it's something that the three of us could probably play and actually be pretty good because
man.
Yeah, I think we could. Badminton?
No, we used to play that in gym class and we were pretty good, Steve.
I don't know. You see there's this Japanese guy who was smoking the US earlier, and he is something else, man. I don't think we could beat them.
Well, all I know is that I'm looking forward to the breakdancing and canoeing. So that's my sports coming up. Oh, and of course, I do look forward to the big running events, and I am looking forward to some of the other the diving. I was actually pretty impressed with. So I'm looking forward to a few of these niche, and the trampolining. I'm looking forward to.
So we'll catch back up with you when those events happen.
Yeah,
Mikey. Let me ask you this: are you watching baseball right now? Because I see your eyes looking up.
No.
You absolutely are watching baseball, aren't you?
I am.
All right. So speaking of baseball, there was some name changes in baseball today. So the Cleveland Indians, they were under scrutiny about their logo, their name, whatever, and they changed it this week. Their new name is the Cleveland Guardians. Guys, what do we think?
So many thoughts.
They can't even guard a lead, let alone. They were 3-1 up on the Cubs in the World Series. You can't name them the Guardians, man. Come on. That's a terrible name.
Okay, so what names? Okay, so do we have other names that you would want instead?
Well, first, what do you think of the name, Emmanuel?
No, I think you're right. I think it's a stupid name. I think it's an absolute name.
I don't know where it comes from. Like, is there anything in Cleveland that there's a reference to?
Yeah, there's a famous bridge that is named like the Guardian of Traffic. I'm not kidding.
Traffic?
I swear. I'm not kidding.
So it was named off of a bridge?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Look it up.
I mean, if we're being fair though, what else does Cleveland have to be proud about? It's Cleveland, so the best they got.
LeBron James.
He didn't even want to be there. He peaced out as soon as he could.
Oh man.
We were talking before the show about Cleveland might be top 5 worst city, if not the worst major city in America.
There's a few worse.
There's a few. We're not going to go through the list that we talked about before the show. We just kind of smeared several cities.
I've driven through Kentucky. There's a few worse.
Yeah.
There's a few worse.
I think we said Cleveland. At least it's not Detroit, so it's got that going for it. So congratulations,
what names
Cleveland.
lost though? So I'm looking here, and it said that Spiders. They were going to be called the Spiders.
Mikey, give them the
I
Spiders
like
history.
that name. I like that name because that was their name before they were the Indians.
Yeah, but
it'd be better than Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. That's an iconic name. What are you talking about?
Blue Jay is my favorite. Favorite bird, and still, I think Spider would be so much cool.
You have an entire behind your team. They can call it.
Oh my God. You and the stupid entire country. It's really going well for you in the Olympics with your 2 damn silver medals. All right. But I'm just saying it's better than any of the names that they had beforehand, which was the Naps. Yes, I said it, the Naps in 1903 to
taking a nap.
I guess. I don't know. It's just naps.
Okay.
I'm down with that team name though. I'm with them.
Naps.
Sounds lovely.
Do you really want to go to the Blues? Like,
I actually wrote that on my list. I actually wrote that on my list as a better name.
Wait. Now, did you call them the Blue Sox?
No, I like blues because I think blues would be perfect because it's antagonistic to their in-state rival, the Cincinnati Reds.
There's actually a Toronto football, a CFL team that was called the Blues.
Well, there's actually an NHL team, the St. Louis Blues.
No,
Yeah.
I do like that one though, Trudeau. Now that you bring up the Reds, is
right.
pretty cool.
How good would that rivalry be between the Cleveland Blues and the Cincinnati Reds?
Yeah,
and also they have a football team called the Browns. Let's just go all the colors. Let's just do it. Why not?
No, I like the Spiders. I thought the Spiders. What other names did you guys have?
I had a few, but the Blue Sox was one of them that I had. So
Yeah.
I had the Blue Sox. I had the other ones called the Buzzards.
What?
Why?
Circling a dead carcass. Circling a dead carcass. And then the last one I had, which I think was great, called the Wild Things.
Yes, I had that one too. I liked the Wild Things.
Well, there is an NHL team called the Wild, the Minnesota Wild. So like you could have been the Cleveland Wild.
Could have been.
I like that.
The Wild Things. That's from the movie. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
Still better than the Guardians.
I had the Blues already, but then so I have one just because I like alliteration. The Clubbers.
The Clubbers is a good one. I like
Cleveland
that.
Clubbers. You know, it's a play on like a bat, like a club.
Yeah.
And then it's alliteration, the CC. I like that. How about the this one I got from online, the Cleveland Rockers?
Yeah, I had that one
Cleveland
too.
Rocks, the Hall of Fame.
That would be
Rock
cool.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I had the Blues, and then I put also my last one was the Knights because I was trying to be something like Cavaliers or like Knights on horses. So I figured like Knights would kind of play with the Cavalier theme a little bit.
Have you ever seen some of these minor league team names, by the way, in baseball?
Do you have any good one for me?
Oh, the Baby Cakes.
Who are the Baby Cakes?
Megan has a shirt of it. It's one of Miami Marlins affiliates. They have the Jumbo Shrimps.
Oh, that's a cool name. I put my kids in that sport.
They got some really fantastic.
I have a list of worst minor league named teams from SI.com.
Go ahead, name some of them.
Where do you want me to start? It's 17, so I can start.
Just start at the one name. The
Well,
ones
I
that
can't
catch
start at the worst.
Okay,
All right, the one that cuts my interest. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start with 17 because this one's something else. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely the word.
The El Paso Chihuahuas.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Modesto Nuts.
Mm-hmm. The Lug Nuts, right?
Lug Nut?
No, they're just like peanuts.
Oh, there's a team
I like
called
this
the Lug
one.
Nuts.
This one's actually pretty sweet. The Traverse City Beach Bums. And the logo is like a teddy bear throwing a baseball.
Own it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they
this one's great. Nah, this is the best one for the win. Number 10, Savannah, Georgia. The Savannah Bananas.
Wait. Is this all minor leagues or something?
Yeah.
Or like kids.
All those names were better than the Guardians.
Yeah. I agree. That I agree. I would put my kids in those.
Here's one from Akron, so it's close to Cleveland.
The Rubber Ducks.
He knew it. Wow.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mike. Knowing some stupid shit.
Hartford Yard Goats made number 2.
That hurts coming from a guy that's excited to watch
Canoeing. Olympic canoeing.
The number one worst name, according to SI.com, for minor league baseball was Batavia. I don't even know how to spell Batavia. Bativa Muck Dogs.
the Muck Dogs.
Can I say something though?
Toronto. Wait.
Worse?
Toronto has the Mud Hens.
Mud Hens, yeah. Can I say worse than all those though? The new Red Sox AAA affiliate. I hate the names they gave to it.
What is it again?
So they were the Pawtucket Paw Sox, and now they're the Worcester Woo Sox.
That's the worst possible.
It's a terrible name.
So what other team is going to lose their their non PR, non politically correct name next?
Well, I know Washington football team has already removed their name. They're still trying to figure it out. And I tell you what, man, you know who's never going to lose their name regardless of how much shit they get?
Uh-oh.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Because the start of the 2020 season, they locked arms. They didn't even take a knee. I mean, they locked arms for unity. They said, let's lock arms and take a moment of silence for unity. You know what they did?
What?
They booed it. They booed unity. There's no way in hell those fans are going to be happy with anything except for the Chiefs.
That's awesome.
Oh, man.
Kansas City, stay classy.
Oh, man.
Which is a great segue because we're going to talk a little football now. It's been a very, very busy week in the NFL as far as new rules and such. And the biggest story is the NFL vaccine changes. So basically, this is what happened, guys. All right, let's just say for what it is. The NFL, they had rules last year during the COVID season. I mean, they had their season in the heart of COVID. We're talking like October last year of 2020 to February 2021. And if you look at any of those charts, that's when COVID was the most rampant in the United States. So they put in rules to keep the players safe. Basically, it's like you have to wear a mask. You can't go out to parties. Like if you're in meetings, you have to be 6 feet from each other, yada, yada, yada. So it was like the safety protocol. Well, with the vaccine rollout, they have loosened the rules for players that have been vaccinated. So basically, they're saying if you've been vaccinated, you actually don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to wear a mask. You can go out and do whatever you want. You can live your life essentially. But if you have not been vaccinated, you still have to comply to these rules. And that's kind of the way things have been. So that has triggered a lot of backlash from a particular group of players that do not want to get vaccinated. And they're kind of complaining that now you're targeting me. I feel like I'm being attacked. Like this is bullshit. Like it's not fair for me. Yada, yada, yada. And the thing is, it's not that in reality, it's not like they're getting punished for not being vaccinated. They're allowed to be unvaccinated. The NFL said they can stay unvaccinated if they want. However, if you choose to be vaccinated, you get benefits for making that decision. That's kind of the lay of the land. And then the second thing that came out this week was last year, it was a complete shit show where teams had outbreaks and they could not play their games on Sunday. Emmanuel, you live in Canada, so I don't know if you're familiar with this, but most NFL games are either on Sunday or Monday night. So basically what was happening was there was these outbreaks during the week, and they would have to push the game back to Monday, Tuesday. We had a game on Wednesday. There was like a 5:00 game on Wednesday. And basically the NFL came out and said this today, or actually about 3 days ago. We are not going to allow for changing of the schedule this year. So if you have an outbreak of COVID among unvaccinated players, that's it, guys. We're not moving it. It's a forfeit. That's it. End of story. You take the loss. Again, this sparks a whole thing where people that are not getting vaccinated are saying, this is unfair. Why are you picking on me? Oh, poor me. Woe is me. I'm so oppressed. So that's kind of the deal of what's going on here. It's just a complete shit show. The biggest clown of them all, Cole Beasley. I mean, if you just look at him, you know he's not about that vaccination life. I'm surprised he even takes baths. But you have him as a proponent of this.
How do you know that he takes baths?
I don't. Have you seen this man? He's the greasiest man I've ever seen in my life. He bathes in essential oils. That's what keeps him going and safe.
I have a comment about the vaccine passports, which is what I'm calling this next piece, which is, do you guys are in favor or against vaccine passports, which is essentially the same thing. You're not forced to have it, but if you don't have it, you can't you can't work. Or if you do work, you basically have, you have to come an hour earlier to go get tested and you have a whole bunch of other limitations.
I mean, it's not like it's something that's new in this country. No. Like if you want to go to grade school as a child, you have to have your measles, mumps, rubella.
Yeah.
I think there's something else in that vaccine shot, but you have to have that vaccine. So it's not like this is an idea that's completely far-fetched and out of the blue.
No, but that's the problem is I think it's it's more of an American ideal that it's all about the individual as opposed to like Canadians. It's not like we've already surpassed the US in the amount of vaccines that we've all received per capita, right? So and other countries are in the similar boat. So I think it's an American ideal that it's about the individual, even though the science is telling you that 99.6% of people that are actually dying and hospitalized are unvaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, I think it's people's right if they choose they don't want to be vaccinated. That's fine, but you have to understand that
Yeah.
those who get vaccinated might have privileges that you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you can eat 20 pounds of ice cream if you want. That's your right, but you might end up by getting diabetes and die. So there's always a consequence, and there's always benefits of making one choice or the other. So I don't know, man. Like, back to these NFL guys, no one's saying they have to, the players, but it's being spun in a different way where they're saying I'm being forced to vaccinate, or you have Fox News saying, why are they forcing these people to do it? It's not they're not being forced. It's still their decision at the end of the day. It just makes their life a little harder. And if there's one option, one really easy option, if you get vaccinated, then you get the benefits that the other players get. It's that simple.
Well, and it's interesting going back to the Olympics and Emily just brought up a really good point. The vaccine hesitation in Japan that caused a lot of the problems. I don't think it's the same hesitation as it was in the US though. There, the regulation, if you know a little bit about the regulatory issues that in Japan, the actual getting a vaccine actually approved in Japan was way harder than getting it in the US. It was way later too. That was part of it, and that contributed to the hesitation. But there is this vaccine hesitation, concern or issue that I think is just absolutely insane. I just, the science is there. I don't understand, and the reality is that if people think that they're going to have the exact same privileges as everybody else, or like today at Toronto Airport, they started to actually have different lines now. You're vaccinated, you go through the simple line that gets you out the door with a simple sign your card for customs and you're out the door, or you can go in this unvaccinated line, which is hours and hours long, and you have to then book a hotel that you might not have booked already in order to stay in a hotel at $400 a night. And you have to stay there for a few days and go through this whole rigmarole. So this is just absolutely insane for people to think that they can have the same freedoms.
Yeah, it's not that your freedom is being taken away. It's just that other people are getting better privileges. So don't get mad. It's like Mikey, if you were coaching a kid or like whatever, you had a kid and a little young kid, and one was acting up and the other one was being good, and you gave the kid that was good ice cream, and then the kid that's acting up is pissed off they don't get ice cream. It's like, yeah, like it's a privilege to get that ice cream. Same thing with these guys in the NFL. Like, they're pissed off that they're not getting these privileges that the other players are getting, and it's totally up to them. Like, stop being the kid stomping and being an asshole, and you can get your damn ice cream.
I don't think Mikey gives his kids. I don't think he gives his kids ice cream. That's for sure.
No, I prefer the Russia method. That's how my kids, they become really amazing soccer players. No,
what's the Russia method? Getting banned from the Olympics.
Cheat once, you get banned. You just show up. You still show up. You play. You change your name.
The Michael Almeida Athletic Committee is the new name of the team after they get banned.
Russia's gonna start their own Olympics, and it's the Olympics that everyone deserves, where these athletes, they go 110% on everything they can put in their body, and we really see how high people can jump and stuff like that.
Yes, I've watched that.
But didn't they just have a Marvel movie about
Marvel movie,
Black Widow? That's how they train their athletes? Is that they keep them in the red room? Like, for those who don't know. Yeah.
I can't wait. They're actually going to have better sports than canoeing. Yeah. They're going to have dodgeball and like the cool sports. Fishy cross my ocean. That's going to be a fun one to watch. You've never played Fishy cross my ocean?
No.
It's a fantastic game.
Is there a canoe involved?
It could be. You could play it that version. So
yeah, I apologize, Emmanuel, for dogging your canoe take on the Olympics. That canoe shouldn't be in the Olympics, because now that I know that horses prancing is an Olympic sport, canoe, I'm good with it.
I wanted to save this for my end thought, but I really want to see the average Joe face an Olympian to see how bad we are, like to see how good they are against us.
Well, do you remember the show Pros versus Joes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be just like that.
But
Exactly.
no, but the pros versus the pros were like old at the time. I want to see like those players that are in their really, really, prime of their lives going against like Emmanuel.
Dude, listen, if I was in the dressage competition, I could probably kick some ass because my horse can prance.
Listen to what we have to put up with him for being like the second for building a baton. Imagine if he beat like an Olympian in something.
I'm
That would
worth
be amazing. You'd have a country behind you, Emmanuel.
The whole country would be behind
the
you.
entire country. Canada would support me 100%.
It is pretty wild, like watching the Olympics and seeing, like, just take the men's swimming for example. Like, let's say like the 100 or the 200 freestyle.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to see these athletes because you don't realize how amazing of an athletic achievement they accomplished, because from 1 to 8, like all competitors finish within 1 second of each other pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
so
what?
they're like, within a second, like, pieces of a second. But my point is that they're so athletically gifted that they are at the pinnacle of what human bodies can do. Like, they're all so gifted that they're all at the very top, and the difference between 1 and 2 is like a blink of an eye. So it's just amazing to just watch like how talented and these people are, because they are the pinnacle of what we can do as humans. Now, back to Mikey's point, I'm with you, Mikey. I will pay the extra $100 to watch the Extreme Olympics, where all the athletes are required to be on steroids, and we can see really what these humans can do.
I want to see how high the human body can jump. Like, can we get it Jeff Bezos up there? Right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's absolutely insane.
Or
I don't understand. Like, again, the whole thing is that because then it's not just steroids, it's cheating in every possible way.
I want a league where there's cheating everywhere. Everything's fair game.
Does that include robotic arms that can basically shoot a bullet?
Yes. Yes. Bionics. Like, I want the $5 million man competing in these Olympics.
It's not. No. They did an analysis of how much it would cost to make that person today, right? And it would cost like 2.6 billion today. It's not
inflation, man. Inflation's hitting us hard.
It's 2.6 billion. It's 2.6 billion. That's what it is.
All right. Well, I feel like we've hit the road. You guys want to hit the closing thoughts?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll let you give, Mike. I know you said yours, so I'll go first today, and I'll let you go last so you can think of something else. Sound good?
All right, I got one.
All right. So
two.
my closing thoughts. Usually, my closing thoughts is just Steve bitches about people. So this is what we're gonna do today. Steve bitches about someone else. Today, I'm gonna bitch about Kanye West.
Oh no. Oh no.
What the hell are we doing, guys? Like, what are we doing? Right? Last time Kanye West was any good was like 10 years ago. But yet he still gets 42,000 people to show up at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in Atlanta to watch this Donta preview show. Did you hear about the Donta preview show?
Was that when he was like in the middle with stuff on his head and pressing the little buttons?
Yeah. So basically he was supposed to drop an album this week, but it got pushed out 2 weeks because that's how Kanye does. He's never just, getting shit done on time. But he shows up, 42,000 people. It's just like this big blank white empty canvas that he walks out on, and he shows up like 2 hours late. Of course, he's wearing pantyhose over his head, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a tan ski mask almost, but just like pantyhose. Like, think about like the bad robber movies where like the robbers throw pantyhose over their head, right, Mikey?
It was like the bad guys in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly. So he shows up like that, wearing a puffy red jacket. And does he play his album? Does he rap his album for the new people? Nope. He just shows up and presses play at an iPad and then just kind of dances around randomly for an hour straight. And people showed up for that. What the hell are we doing? The last 3 albums he put out, right? I got them right here. What do we got for the last 3 albums? They're trash. Life of Pablo, not great. Ye, awful. Jesus is King. It's a gospel album. What is he doing? He hasn't been good since My Dark Beautiful Fantasy in 2010. It's been 10 plus years since he was any good. Why are people still obsessing over this man and giving him so much attention? I don't understand at all.
He's an angry elf. I had to play one song. I agree with you. I actually agree. I again, Kanye in his day when he was early on, I think he was groundbreaking and good. But I just think he's lost his mind and going down past that. I just don't understand.
And this is the thing that actually was what I find most disturbing. I was thinking about this in the car earlier this week, right? Is like instead of like trying to find Kanye West stability and help, we just kind of march him back out there and just be like, yeah, more music, Kanye, we love you. Like the Kanye stands, like they just love him no matter what. And this man just needs mental help.
Yeah.
Like he is cuckoo bananas. And yet we still march him out there. And I feel like, and I don't want to get too dark here, but I feel like we're just going to keep trotting Kanye out here until like something really, really, really bad happens to him.
Yes, but again, he's isolated, right? And he's got his yes people, just like
that's the problem.
Other people, yes people, right? And when you're that ultra rich, you do not have a true sense of what the real world is, and I think that is a big problem. And I agree with you, mental health, but it's a social thing as well. Of the ultra rich can pretty much do whatever they want, and they don't have to really deal with it until it's too late. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I just think because he's Kanye West and he puts out these albums, people will just keep giving him the thumbs up and saying, dude, this is great. This is amazing. Keep it up, Kanye. No one will give him like a reality check and being like, hey, man, your life's kind of like crazy. Your albums are slipping. Like, let's get you like back to be mentally stable and like figure it out from there. But instead, like you said, it's got yes men everywhere. And this poor man is just going to be spiraling out of control.
Yeah, well, again, I think that there's multiple tiers of people in this world in terms of the rich, the poor, the ultra poor, like poverty, and there's a bunch of, and the ultra rich. No, there's rich and then ultra rich. And I do think that he lives in the world of the ultra rich. Now, did his divorce, did that cause him to change his way of doing things? It hasn't stopped him at all. So I do think it's a mental health issue, but I don't think he's going to get the proper help because I think he can buy his way out of not getting help. I
just miss the old Kanye. So I'm just going to say it.
He was good at the time, but everybody has their time. Like there's this thing that, you know, there's the goats, whatever, but you have your time, right? And he's trying to continue thinking that he's still at where he was before, which is not the case.
All right, Ben, what do you got for us to close the show?
For me, it's I actually want to know where you guys are going to travel when the borders start opening up. For me, it's like we're starting to figure out ourselves, like where are we going to travel? How far away from Mikey are we going to travel so I don't have to visit him? But we wanted to know if you guys are ever going to come visit here in Canada when the borders open up.
I'm really busy for like the next year.
I didn't even say a date. I did not even say a date.
For the next life of mine, I'm busy.
Trudeau has an excuse because he's having a baby. Well, Emily is having a baby, but he's going to support her, right? Right? Wait. And talking about that, what happened earlier when we were planning for the show? What we were saying, Trudeau? They said, well, can you bring the microphone into the maternity ward? And what did you say?
I said, I was joking. I said, I have an attachment I can clamp to the desk. So I can clamp it to maybe like the hospital bed and record from there. And
I said, no, that's the wrong answer. You've got to be there to support your wife. What did you say?
I said, my wife is lovely.
Yes.
But to answer your question, like where I like to travel, man, like it's going to be a while for me because I have a kid coming. But like my next big trip, I want to check out 3 spots in Europe, Germany, the Netherlands, and Belgium. So like that little nook in like northeast Europe would be great.
Yeah. And so Germany, what was it again? Germany?
So it would be like Germany. I don't know where in Germany yet, but I want to check out Germany. And then it would be Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and then Brussels and Belgium. And also I think Emily was big into the idea of going to, was it someplace in Austria? What's their big city?
Austria is awesome.
What's their big city in Austria?
Geneva?
No,
that's Switzerland.
I'm sure I'll get a comment in a minute. about where
Yeah.
to go. But I also really want to go back to Italy.
Vienna.
Vienna, yes, thank you.
There you go.
I would say like if you've never been to Italy, like that place is awesome. If I wasn't such a bitch, I would just move to Italy. 'Cause it's a great place. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
Italy's pretty awesome.
How about you
No,
guys?
we're planning to go up to Canada to visit most of the Canadians. Myra.
I'm busy. Mikey, I'm sorry, I'm busy.
So
You're
probably do
definitely
that.
getting past the border.
We were talking about it today. We probably end up at Bora Bora, and Tokyo is another place that we want to go to.
Okay.
Japan.
Oh man, yes, I was just talking about that the other night. Tokyo seems awesome. I want to go to Tokyo so bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I visited a few of those places. I haven't visited Belgium, but I've been in Germany. What was the other one that you mentioned? Was
Brussels.
Netherlands, right? That was the Netherlands?
Yeah, Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. So Amsterdam I visited as well with the family. We've been there. Tokyo is awesome. It's a different world in Tokyo. Germany. Oh, just can we give a shout out to I have friends in Germany that are being affected right now by the floods. It's really sad.
Ooh, yeah, I
Watch-
saw that. I saw that.
really
Man, that's
sad. And
crazy.
yeah, we reached out to a few, and 3 of my friends commented back and said we're safe. Everything. One of them hasn't yet, and he lives in the south, and we're worried that he's okay. But yeah, I really feel bad about it. But Germany, beautiful. We had a great time in Germany. Luke and Jenilyn came with me, and we went there, and we had just a phenomenal time. We did the Das Super Talent, which is the America's Got Talent, but it's the Germany's Got Talent, and they got standing ovations. I got the video of them getting standing ovations in Germany.
Das Super Talent.
Das Super
That's a great name.
You have to say it the right way. Das Super Talent. You have to say it the right way.
Still better than the Cleveland Guardians out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. The other one. So one of the most beautiful cities in the world that I found, Singapore. I really enjoyed Singapore. It was actually really nice. Love the Philippines, and there's parts of the Philippines that I want to go back to. We were there for a bit of time. Absolutely loved it. Italy is another one that we want to go visit. For sure. But Singapore, I'm actually I might be back in Singapore before the end of the year because I gotta do some work there with my Google peeps out there. So I've got to do some work there. But yeah, Singapore. I would say Paris was fun too. I had a lot of fun with Paris. I didn't like the people so much, but I did love the food.
I will say, I
Amazing.
don't. Before
The
you
food was
sideswipe the
amazing in
people,
Paris.
I was in Paris and I felt that the people were not. Well, here's the thing, Emmanuel. This is what I need you to understand. People they say negative things about Parisians, but here's the thing: if you live in the Northeast United States, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, they seem like normal people because like they are at the level that we're at. They're not any worse than New Englanders at all.
I agree.
So
Yeah,
like maybe Parisians are more rude than other people in Europe, but as far as like for us, they're not. They're just normal people.
Mikey, you had a comment?
No, I'll let you go first.
Well, no. So again, I agree with you. I think, and it was very much like, again, New York, you're kind of, it's a very busy place, but you feel alone but again, I had a lot of good friends in New York. If you have friends, then it's okay. If you go to a country like Paris, to France, and you go to Paris and it's a very big city and you don't have friends there, you're going to have a hard time. That's what I found. Tokyo, was very interesting because if you don't also have friends or somebody, they don't want to help you, but they will help you if you really need help, obviously. But the language barrier is a definite issue in Tokyo.
Well, true.
Yeah.
The other thing too is when you go to Italy, Italy's very friendly and people want to feed you and be nice to you and stuff like that. France are like, just get the hell out of here, man. Portugal's really nice too. Portugal's the same way. It's very similar to Italy. But the one place I think that you'd really like, Trudeau, is Monaco. Monaco's amazing.
That's Spain, right?
No, that's France.
Okay, Southern.
It's they're their own country now. Let me see if Emmanuel.
Okay.
Emmanuel, have you ever been to Monaco?
I've never been to Monaco. I have a really good friend that lived in Monaco for 3 years and just kept talking about it. Again, he kept talking how amazing it is. But again, I only know the Monaco race, the F1 race, right? And that's the only thing I know, that they changed the entire country for that race. So,
when we went there to play and stuff like that, it was really every view is breathtaking. The food is fantastic, and it's unbelievable. How about Venice? Did you go to Venice, Trudeau? when you were in Italy?
Yeah, I went to Venice. So the 3 cities I went to were
I know he
Rome.
hates Venice.
Is this the trash can
I
of
went
it?
I went to Rome.
This is
Florence,
calling.
and
What did he
Venice.
used to call it? Calling the witness or what? Something like that.
So I went to Rome, Florence, and Venice.
Okay.
All right. Rome is the coolest city of the 3 because Rome is popping, man. Like every corner of that city is living. There's life everywhere. And when you walk around, you just feel the history of Rome. You can feel it. It's just in the stones everywhere. You take a turn to your right. Oh, hey, it's the Colosseum. To the left. Oh, hey, it's the what's the Vatican City. It's just amazing. Florence is beautiful. Man, it's just the art, the layout, the countryside of what's the Florence countryside called?
I have no
Help me.
idea.
I
I've
don't
been
know.
there. I didn't really
Tuscany,
like Florence.
Tuscany, the Tuscany region of Italy. It's beautiful. Venice, it's kind of a tourist trap. It's like Times Square in New York City. It's just all tourists. It's busy. It's not that cool. You get lost. It's just hot. All it is shops. You got to go
It's
there,
the
though.
Florida. It's the Florida of Italy.
You got to go there. You got to go there, though, to see it once. But I will say this. When I went to Venice, we actually stayed off the island, right? So we stayed on the mainland Venice, and we got to see like the authentic Venetian people. Very nice people. But the problem what I was told by the Venetians is that the Venice island itself, it's just been overrun and pretty much bought out by people just selling Airbnb to tourists. So no Italians live in the Venice island anymore. It's all just touristy. So that's my biggest issue with Venice.
Wow. So speaking of Venice and Italy, I got a pizza maker. I can talk about that next.
Really? Yeah. No, before you go there, Trudeau, the nicest place I've ever been in Italy was Verona. Verona was
I've
absolutely
heard nice things.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. You can just go there, sit in the park, get food. No one's going to bother you. And it's just so beautiful. It's really, really nice. Then you can get lost like Venice, but you don't have that smell following you around the whole time.
Yeah, Venice is kind of a dump.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Emmanuel. Let's hear about your pizza maker. Did you
My
get to
pizza
make
maker?
pizza at your party this week?
No, I didn't because it was raining. It was raining. It was my 18-year-old's birthday. And
So
Benjamin-
before you go into your story, what did you guys eat then? Because I would
we
really
ate
like.
pizza. Yeah, we ordered pizza. It was way better. No, so we do have a pizza oven that I bought that is cool because I okay. Can I explain how this started though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, Trudeau doesn't want to hear it.
No, go ahead.
At my work at Google, we have these clubs, right? And so I actually founded the Rubik's Cube Club, right? So I did. I have 6,173 Googlers that are actually part of this club, and it's actually a big thing. It's a big deal. So I got bored, and I decided to create a new club. And we have a few guys on and they're talking about pizza makers.
Wait. Did you get kicked out of your club and you had to
What?
make a new one?
Yeah.
You
I
got kicked out of your club.
Also, before you
wait.
go on, can you please tell that club to subscribe, rate, and review?
I can't.
He's got 6,000
promote.
people, and he's like this all-star of the club. He's literally the Mark Zuckerberg of his club.
I'm
And
not even kidding. So here, for those who can't see, this is my pizza makers club. This is the pizza makers club. This is me.
looks nicer than our website.
Yeah, it
does.
is. It actually is. And if you look, so if I look at how many people so far, let's take a look at how many people I have. So I've got the member chart, so it'll show me how many people from all over the world. These are all the people. So Canada, I've got United Kingdom, I've got Italy, I got a few from Italy. Look at that, and I got from India. I've got quite a few people from all over the world. See,
Emmanuel,
this is the club that we started. Yeah,
Emmanuel, you never cease to amaze me. Every week, there's just something new.
Yeah, but I'm the founder of this club, and just to prove it, you can see the steering committee. I am the head of the steering committee. These are all my peeps. Wait, and you guys don't believe me? Look at this.
No
Can I
one
just
said
say
anything
really
about that.
really quick? This is bad for the podcast audience, but
I know.
it disturbs me how many tabs you have open on your browser.
Yeah. I have quite.
You
a few.
have like
One.
35 tabs open, and it's giving me anxiety right now.
Oh,
You got to
wow.
close them.
I know. I have quite a few, but this is my Cube Club. So I'm the founder of this Cube Club, and look, I have people from all over the world as well. I have people from all over the world, from Australia, everywhere else. But yeah, I do have a pizza makers club, and I am now starting to create pizzas. I can give you guys advice about how not to make a pizza because I burnt my first pizza.
I make pizza at home, but in the oven, it's fantastic.
No. It's not the same as having a 900-degree pizza oven.
I'll tell you what, Manuel. You come down to me. I'll make you a pizza. We'll come up to you, make us a pizza, and we'll have a competition. Okay?
Wait. I have a portable pizza oven that I can bring down, and we can.
Okay. So how about that? How about that? You come from Toronto, hook up your pizza oven, drive it all the way down to Boston, Massachusetts,
100%.
and we'll make some pizzas.
100%. Okay.
Deal. And by the way, I won't be joining you because if I do go across the border, I'm going to the better city, which is known as Montreal, Canada.
Montreal. Well, okay. Wait. So Montreal is beautiful and it's very European. Okay, it's very the sense of Europe. The food is quite good. The people are great, but they're very friendly in Montreal. So the people are.
I didn't get that vibe.
You didn't get that vibe? Montrealers are very friendly. They are very friendly. They're very friendly, but the food is amazing. People are beautiful. The scenery is quite good, especially if you're in old Montreal.
Did he just say the people are beautiful?
Well, yeah, you have very beautiful people in Montreal.
Baby.
Yeah, there's a lot of very beautiful people in Montreal.
The sense I got in Montreal is when, as soon as they speak to you in French, and as soon as you say an English word, they kind of just roll their eyes and just like.
It depends. No, it depends.
They don't like that.
It depends. There are places outside of Montreal.
Who are you?
If you go to Quebec City, it's like
how
Montreal.
dare you? What's this?
Parlez-vous français?
Oh, you are an Android user?
You don't sound French. You sound a little bit German and Belgium. Like,
well, I'm trying to get Trudeau ready.
Oh,
all right, Mike. Did you have any more parting thoughts outside of what you had earlier?
Yeah, I got two.
All right.
First one's quick. LeBron James, please stop making movies and go play for Team USA. We need you. Is this what you want to hear? Do we need Kevin Durant to come on to the podcast and say, we need you, LeBron? Okay. Because if that's the case, right? Bring Bugs. We'll let you bring Bugs. But we need you, obviously, because we're losing to teams that have Evan Fournier as their main scorer. Okay? And I've been through enough basketball seasons with the Orlando Magic to tell you that is not a winning ingredient.
Okay, I just have to say, LeBron actually did a pretty good job in Space Jam. He was pretty good. I thought he was very good his acting surprised me. He was actually quite good.
I want you to say this in a Montreal accent. Go ahead and start all over again.
Montreal.
LeBron is okay. Space Jam.
We're gonna play hockey tonight. Tonight we're gonna watch hockey. No, I don't know how to.
What's your second thought?
My second thought's pretty cool. There was this Yankees prospect named Thero Estrada, and a year ago he was out getting ready for spring ball with his wife, and unfortunately, two teenagers pulled him aside and wanted money from him and had him empty out his pockets, and he had no money or a cell phone. The two boys ran after he heard a big bang and noticed that he couldn't run. He was shot in the leg and he fell down right there. And they flew him to Tampa to have surgery on, and they didn't know if this prospect would ever get a chance to play baseball again. Luckily, it didn't cause any crazy damage and he was able to get back on the diamond. But unfortunately, the Yankees released him to make room for Odor. He is now was picked up by the the San Francisco Giants. I watched him against the Dodgers this past week. He not only homered, but played unbelievable. And they're saying he's one of the best comeback stories of this year. So I'm not a Giants fan, but I respect them. And it was a really cool thing to watch. And he looked good. He looked really good. And remember, this guy's only 25. So
Mikey, I need to have you close us off more often because I am such a negative Nancy and you bring like a nice heartwarming story to end the podcast. I love it, man. Thank you so much for that.
So time to go on Omega now. Let's get on this. We got to go recruit some more subscribers today.
All right. And speaking of subscribers, if you're watching the podcast live, please subscribe to the podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for
Oh,
watching the We Got Balls podcast. We'll talk to you next week. Peace out.